Marvel is dedicated to providing fans with epic movies, great stories, and building a connected universe we've loved for over a decade. But when it comes to trailers, Marvel is known to be deceiving in all the best ways. Far too often, movie trailers have given away too many plot twists, climatic moments, and action scenes. Marvel takes the opposite approach, so their films feel refreshing and as spoiler-free as possible. With Marvel's Avengers Endgame, they continue their trend of lying to fans. And the release of Captain Marvel proved how deceiving some of those early teasers were. When a movie is as anticipated as a big release like the Avengers Endgame, the release of a trailer feels like a huge event in itself. In case of Marvel, their trailers may show you some of the main characters, but the goal is just to really proclaim when the movie is getting released. The trailers themselves should all be viewed with the knowledge that the footage you see, the characters you see, and even some full scene backdrops may not appear in the final cut at all. While we love to take the time to analyze every moment and come up with theories based off 30 seconds of footage, Marvel's brilliance in the way they create trailers is nothing new. In fact, when it specifically comes to the Avengers movies, Marvel has been deceiving us every time. Let's dive into the quantum realm for moments. Take a step back in time and recap the way in which Marvel has tricked us with trailers. For the first Avengers, we saw a lot of clips from the Battle of New York. The Avengers were formed, a cohesive group, ready to take on whatever battles presented themselves. By the time we plopped down in the theaters with our popcorn, we learned the film takes its time to properly build the team and the trust between the heroes. We didn't know how much the Avengers battled each other before finally working together against a larger threat. And the trailer works. We simply learn who's in the film, and by the title alone, it's pretty obvious the Avengers will form together. In Avengers Age of Ultron, trailers showed Captain America's shield shattered. Turns out, the scene wasn't real. Just a manipulation from the Scarlet Witch when she used her powers to trick Tony Stark. And then in Infinity War, we have the infamous forest running scene where the Incredible Hulk runs alongside Black Panther and Captain America, among others. The scene itself created just for the trailers. But if you've seen any of the Avengers teaser trailers, you should know by now to never take them for face value. But yet, we all seem to forget this and go crazy with theories and ideas when the first teaser trailer for Endgame gets released. Tony Stark was floating hopelessly through space. The Avengers mourned their fallen heroes. Hawkeye made his sword-carrying return, and Thanos spent some time cruising through his farm. Naturally, the timing of Endgame and Captain Marvel left Carol Danvers out of the trailer, but there were a lot of other things left out as well. While the trailer certainly left a lot up in the air, even more footage was revealed during the latest Super Bowl in February. We got more footage, saw additional characters in action, and there were even more questions, along with no appearance from Captain Marvel. All of these answers wouldn't come with another trailer, but rather with a short credit scene at the end of Captain Marvel. Per MCU tradition, Captain Marvel ends with a scene used to help set up the next movie. Once the shock and awe of the scene sets in, our critical thinking minds began piecing the puzzle together and realized how deceiving the initial trailers were. Captain Marvel seems to show up a lot earlier in Endgame than people expected, like pretty shortly after the pager signaled her to come back to Earth. The start of the Avengers Endgame could feel like it picks up directly after Captain Marvel, and this makes sense considering how close the two release dates were. Why delay Captain Marvel's arrival on the scene when we've seen it at the end of her movie and know she's coming? A lot of the answers of the trailer deception can be found with hair. Specifically, Captain America's beard. Steve Rogers sported the beard for the Infinity War, but after the first teaser got released, we learned as part of the grieving process our hero shaved and went clean cut again. Then a second trailer got released and followed up with a Captain Marvel mid-credits scene. Clearly, the scenes with his beard take place early on in the film. We have to wonder how much of a time jump takes place. Black Widow's hair has also been up for debate. In early teasers, we mostly see her with short blonde hair, but the latest trailer reveals numerous scenes with longer and darker hair. Tracking the various lengths of hair can help piece together different elements and time frames. Just look at the short Thor and Captain Marvel scene at the end of the latest Endgame trailer. Natasha appears in the scene for a brief moment, sporting her short blonde hair. This is clearly a sign that Captain Marvel shows up early on in the movie and will help the Avengers for a majority of the film. With Captain America's beard and Black Widow's hair, we get more clues to how time and scenes have been manipulated. At the same time, we highly doubt Marvel went all Henry Cavill on us and removed Steve Rogers' facial hair for the trailers. In the first teaser, we see Scott Lang show up at the Avengers headquarters. While this seems to take place early on in the film, there's likely a time jump before Lang arrives and introduces our heroes to the quantum realm. When Lang appears, Rogers is beardless, meaning there's likely going to be an earlier mission before Ant-Man gets involved. The remaining Avengers could team up with Captain Marvel to take on Thanos, or attempt another way to help reverse the snap. The mid-credits scene definitely confirms we may be waiting a little bit to see Ant-Man meet up with the Avengers. To help streamline the story, the film could cut to his return from the quantum realm, and the discovery that all of his friends and family have turned to dust. Then he begins his journey to reunite with the Avengers, after his last teaming up with them in Captain America: Civil War. Another element the Endgame trailer was clearly lying about was the scene outside Avengers headquarters. In the quick clip, Natasha, Steve, Bruce, and Rhodey all walks in the field looking up at the sky. Instead of wondering what the mysterious object in the sky is, all people could focus on was the massive gap between Bruce and Rhodey. If Marvel could get away with adding the Hulk in the Infinity War trailer, then they could definitely get away with removing a character from an Endgame trailer scene. So, after seeing Captain Marvel appear out of nowhere in the mid-credits scene of her movie, we know our heroes are not looking up at her arrival. But that doesn't mean she's out of the scene altogether. Many people assumed Scott Lang would be filling the empty gap, but it could be filled by Captain Marvel herself. And Marvel had every reason to digitally remove her if this is the case. Keeping her in the scene would have fans focusing on her future in Endgame rather than her solo outing in Captain Marvel. The close release dates of Captain Marvel and Endgame has forced Marvel to do a lot of shuffling, and they held off on the final official trailer release until after Captain Marvel debuted. Once the third trailer did release, we couldn't help but notice even more deception on Marvel's part. And the main element of this has to do with the infamous group walk at the Avengers headquarters. In the first teaser, we have a blank shot of the empty hangar. No heroes present, just a glorious view of the sun. In the Super Bowl teaser, we see a group of our heroes walking, only in silhouettes. It's hard to make out everyone. Hawkeye could be there, but extremely obscure. And then the third trailer gets released, and everything we originally thought about the scene is now completely different. This scene was clearly fabricated to throw fans off from the final scene. In the final trailer, we get great close-ups of this shot, revealing the lies created before. These heroes are not in their standard outfits. They are all wearing the new special white uniforms. Uniforms we've all assumed brought on some type of connection to the quantum realm. The white outfit reveal was great to finally see in person, because for months now, we've only seen them in a leaked toy form. The lineup of people walking is completely changed as well. Now we get clear shots of Captain America, Hawkeye, Ant-Man, Nebula, Rhodey, Black Widow, and Iron Man. Of course, it's important to note these are close-up shots. There are some key people missing, including Thor, Rocket, Bruce Banner, and Captain Marvel. Clearly, Marvel is holding back on those shots, and the hangar scenes may some of their biggest trailer manipulations yet. Along with the flashy white suits, the scene confirms one of the biggest things Marvel kept from us in earlier trailers. Iron Man and Nebula make it back to Earth. Well, in Nebula's case, it's possibly her first time on Earth. The first teasers made it seem like Tony Stark reuniting with the Avengers would take a long time, if at all. Well, once again, Marvel used those scenes for dramatic effect. The object in the sky we see the Avengers looking at could very well be Iron Man and Nebula crash landing their ship back at the Avengers base. Of course, Stark may be one of the few who actually knows where the base is, and this makes a lot of sense as to why something is arriving on the scene. And while Captain Marvel's mid-credits scene and comparing other trailers have revealed Marvel's deceptive ways, who can blame them? Endgame is a film that has culminated in 10 years worth of movies so epic it is now being referred to as the Infinity Saga. When we go see the films, we do not want to know exactly what's happening or when it's going to happen. Part of the thrill of seeing movies like Infinity War was the shock and surprise. Imagine if we knew Hulk got destroyed by Thanos and didn't reappear in the movie. Imagine if we knew about Red Skull's big return. Well, it's fun to point out the lies and manipulation in these trailers. The key goal is to build up hype, and Marvel has successfully done that. The trailers are just their means of getting us to buy a ticket, and it's pretty safe to say they are sold. If anything, these trailer swerves are brilliant, often revealing something even better than the trailer made the movies out to be. And with Endgame, we can only hope that Marvel keeps the lid shut, doesn't reveal anything else, and lets us all enjoy the ride when the movie is finally released. So how do you like Marvel's trailers? Is it okay for them to change scenes or trick us with footage? Is there anything we missed? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to Screen Rant for more great content.